Hello guys, we are dealing with class account holder from last couple of videos. So class account holder is declared something like this. Account ID is there, integer value, then name is there which is array of 20 characters, and account balance is there which is double value. So I have also written two constructors. One is default constructor and parameterized constructor for class account holder. Now suppose I have two different objects A1 and A2 which are declared inside the main function. Then how will be the memory diagram for that? So the objects are local objects. That's why the memory will get allocated onto the stack. Now what is the size of the class? Size of the class is 4 plus 20 plus double is 8 bytes. Now in the last video by mistake I assumed double 4 bytes and 28 bytes size I told you. But it is 4 plus 20 plus 8 which is 32 bytes. So if I declare A1 and A2 objects, then 32 bytes of memory will get allocated for them, and this memory allocation will be onto the stack. So suppose this is A1 and this is A2. So after the memory is allocated, constructor will get called. A1 will call the default constructor and A2 will call the parameterized constructor. So in the default constructor I have initialized values, 1 for ID, then crazy clicks for name and 1 lakh for balance. Now this is character array, so it is sequence of 20 characters, so I will draw 20 boxes. So out of them I am initializing only first few characters and rest of the characters will be garbage values. So this is the diagram for A1 object. Now for A2 object I am passing the parameters from here. So they will call the parameterized constructor and these values 2, Jack and 50,000 will be stored over here. So this is okay, but in this case there is a limitation of array which is coming into the picture. So limitation of array is it is compile time memory allocation or static memory allocation. So because of that, doesn't matter how many characters I am actually storing, doesn't matter what is the length of the name, it is always allocating 20 characters. So that is not efficient way to utilize the memory. So for that, in this class declaration I will make one small change. Instead of this name as an array, suppose I declare that as a character pointer. So if I change the account holder name from array to pointer, then what will be the change in the definitions of constructors and what will be the change in the memory diagram of objects that we need to understand. So we'll implement the constructors definition later. So let me understand how will be the object diagram if I change this from array to pointer. So for A1 and A2 objects, now how much memory will get allocated? Now there is a change in the size of the account holder class. The new size of the account holder class will be 4 bytes for ID. Now this is only 4 bytes because any pointer is 4 bytes. So 4 plus 8. So it is 16 bytes. So stack and heap. Suppose this is the stack area and this is the heap area. Then stack will have 16 bytes for each of the object A1 and A2. Each object will have 3 members. After that, memory allocation corresponding constructor will get called for A1 and A2. A1 will call default constructor, so default constructor will store 1 over here. Now inside the default constructor you cannot store directly value inside the name member because now it is not an array, it is a pointer. So before you store the value you have to allocate some memory onto the heap which is equivalent to the length of the name. So name is crazy clicks, so length is 11. So you need to allocate 11 plus 1 more byte, 12 bytes. You need to allocate 12 bytes, 1 more byte for null character. So you will allocate 12 bytes onto the heap and starting address of that allocated memory will be stored over here. And after that here you will store actual name. And balance is 1 lakh, that is okay. For A2 object, 2 is a account ID, then name is stored onto the block which is on heap and address of that block is stored over here, say 2000, and here there is some value which is 50,000. So diagram for A1 and A2 object will be something like this if I change account holder name from array to pointer. So let's implement the constructor definitions and we'll understand how to write a definition if the class is declared like this. This is the account holder class that I have implemented. Now here, before I change this account holder name, let me remove the accept function because for this demo I do not need accept. In the main function I have created two objects, one is A1 and other is A2, and I am displaying those objects. So let me run the code, save it, g++, name of the file accountholder.cpp-o, name of the executable is account holder. Run the account holder executable. So it is printing the values for both the objects A1 and A2. Now as I told you, I will change this name from character array to character pointer. So I will remove this subscript 20 and I will put asterisk over here. Now once I make that change, if I compile it and run it again as it is, then it will throw an error which is segmentation fault. Segmentation fault error comes when you try to access some illegal memory or some invalid memory location. So basically it is an error with memory. So if I want to remove this error, it is a runtime error. If I want to remove that error, then as I told you in the theory part, I have to allocate memory for pointer accHolderName. So here I will say accHolderName equals to new char, and I will allocate 12 bytes of memory. 12 bytes of memory because the default name I am storing is crazy clicks, which is with length 11 plus 1 for null character. Inside the parameterized constructor, I will allocate memory for account holder name and it is equivalent to the string length of name plus 1 for null character. So this will be the definition of parameterized constructor. String length function is inside string header, so I will include that hash include string. So after I make this change, again I will compile and run it. So you will see the values for both the objects and segmentation fault is removed now, because now the partial object is stored onto the stack and partial object is stored onto the heap. I have already shown you diagram. Now what is remaining in this case? This is the complete code, that is okay, but we are missing one thing here. Suppose if I write valgrind /account holder, then you will see that this code is leaking memory equivalent to 17 bytes. So that is because I did not free the memory which is allocated for this pointer account holder name. Now how to free that memory so that I don't have any memory leakage in my code? So that thing we will see in the next video. So please subscribe to my channel. I will see you again.